Good evening, Anne Arundel County. Good evening, America. Welcome to Promoting Community, Conversation, and Discovery. I'm your host, Anthony Bynum. The name of our production company is the Glen Burnie Players. These are exciting times here in Anne Arundel County. These are cold times here in Anne Arundel County. You know, they shut everything down on Monday. The road, the secondary road, right off of the main road I live on, uh, it was plowed, but it was nothing but ice for like 3, 4 days until they finally got some salt on it. So dress warm. It's supposed to warm up a little bit for the big football weekend, but dress warm. I had to wear a parker all week. So exciting show. Let's talk about what's coming up. So tomorrow's a big day. We've been talking about it for about a month at John Wesley United Methodist Church in Glen Burnie, 6922 Crane Highway. Yeah. We're running the documentary, The Remarkable Story of James Apostle Fields. It's a $10 donation. If you have nothing else that you're doing, or you're just curious about one of these hidden figures in history, come down to John Wesley. You can buy tickets at the door. We have plenty of seats available. We'd love to have you down there. Donation's $10. It's a fundraiser for the church. If you can make it, please do. Now, also tomorrow, I think this is between 1 and 3. Broadneck High is the Broadneck High Jazz Band. So if you want to see some good young musicians, be there to check it out. I think I saw them over at library. I think it was at the Severna Park Library, I think. I think that was about a year and a half ago. And we used some of the footage for one of our shows. Very good young musicians. These guys have been playing for a long time. They understand music theory. We need the arts. We need the arts. So if you get a chance, you can check that out also between 1 and 3, I believe. The following Saturday, also at John Wesley, it's a luncheon. It's about honoring Martin Luther King and stories about and of. Um, it's $25. It's a donation, of course, for the church. But it's a week from Saturday. If you get the chance, consider it. Strongly consider it. Okay. Now, we want to do a shout out for our affiliates. These are the people who air our show. So, starting right here in Anne Arundel County, that's AAC TV. Thank you for airing our show. In PG County, it's Greenbelt Cable Access. Thank you for airing our show. I heard from Sheila. I sent the show over to her last Sunday. I think it might have been Saturday, and she responded. So she'll get it out there. She's going to run it this week for me. Amherst Media. I sent it to them. I'm going to have to communicate with them. It seems to be, we need to make sure everything's right over there. But they have traditionally ran our shows for us. Manhattan Neighborhood Network, same thing. They just changed their cable interface. And so I sent the show to them. I haven't heard anything, so I have to give them a call. You know, in this business, things don't just work because you say work. You have to follow up on things. You have to try hard and then try even harder. Brunswick TV3 out of Maine. I got a great relationship going on up there. Great relationship. They've acknowledged the show. They're going to put it on the air for us. Thank you so much, Jim. Appreciate you. Okay, now references. So we want to show our appreciation to Find People Wikipedia, Google Images, and something new, Love and Lemons. You're going to get that in a few minutes. All right, most admired. Well, this is the weekend of the big game. Steelers are in town in cold weather to take on the Ravens. Ravens are playing very good ball right now, but you know what? This is NFL playoff football, and it's cold, and anything can happen. No predictions here, guys. No predictions here. But I want to talk about a hero of past. He happened to play his whole career in one place back when guys did that. Let's go to our share here. I'm talking about no one other than the great Rocky Bleiers. What a story. What a story. And he's still around, and we're happy he's still around. So let's look into the life of Rocky Bleiers. Born 3/5/1946. Like I said, he's still with us. I'm very happy about that. He played for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1968. Did not play in 69. We're going to cover that in a second. Then he played from 70 to 1980. Why didn't he play for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1969? Well, because he was in Vietnam. That's why. So, a little bit about him. He was E4. Uh, he was drafted into the Army. He volunteered to go to Vietnam. He was awarded a Bronze Star. You don't win that. You're awarded that. He was awarded a Purple Heart. I'm going to talk about that too. Now, he got his nickname as a little baby. See, his father owned a tavern in the town he grew up in, Appleton, Wisconsin. And he'd bring his kid to work with him, before it was fashionable. And some of the patrons would say, "Oh man, what a cute looking kid." And he'd say, "Yeah, he's steady as a rock." And then they'd be he's a rocky kind of guy, huh? And it's stuck. It's stuck. I don't even know what his real name is. Oh yeah, it's right there. Robert Patrick. But everybody calls him Rocky, right? Um, he was a heck of an athlete in high school. He played basketball, he played football. I think he was all state in both, at least one of the two. He went to Notre Dame. He was on a national championship team. That's something. And he's a heck of a player. And he ends up being what? Drafted in the 16th round. I didn't say he was the 16th guy drafted. I said drafted in the 16th round. So, he had to fight to get in the door, right? Probably undersized. You know how that goes, right? Well, after his rookie year, like I said, he was drafted. And he volunteered. Said, "Well, if you're gonna send me to Vietnam, send me where it's happening." And he was a squad grenadier. I think that means he carried grenades. That's probably what that meant. That's pretty dangerous work if you think about it, because the enemy's looking for the guys who bringing the big guns. So if you're carrying an M160 or you got grenades, you're the first guy they're looking for, right? Anyway, the date was 8/20/1968, and he gets shot in the left thigh. And there's also some shrapnel that I forget exactly the story behind it, but it ends up in his lower right leg. So the doctors say, "Hey, you're not going to have an NFL career. You might as well go ahead and get used to that now." Right as you would think he's breaking down, he gets a postcard from the team owner, Art Rooney. I don't know if he knew about the injury or not, but the postcard said uh, that he was needed. The team was not doing well. That's all he. Motivation. So he was discharged from the Army. He started informal workouts, like right when he got back, informal workouts. Now, he's down to 180 pounds. He's not big enough to play in the NFL, most likely. Not running back. But they got him on the special teams, and he's waved a couple times now. He waved him a couple times. So Art said, "Yeah, sorry, Rock, gotta go." But he kept fighting, he kept fighting, kept fighting. He got back on the team. And by 1974, he's in the starting lineup. Now, I didn't know this. Preston Pearson, who was a great wide receiver, started off with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I didn't know that before he was traded to the Cowboys. He had his old number. I think it was 26. So he switched to 20 and he kept it. Kept it for his whole career. And football, the numbers are kind of important thing. It's kind of like an important thing. So let's go forward here, right? Um, so essentially, he's a blocking back for the great Franco Harris, but he runs too. In fact, in 1976, they both had 1,000 rushing yards. The only duo that had done that up to that time, and I'm not sure if anyone else has done it since, was back in '72 when the Dolphins, that was probably their undefeated team, had Mercury Morris and Larry Zonka both having over 1,000 yards. He played in 4 Super Bowls. Steelers didn't lose any Super Bowls back in those days. So that's 4 Super Bowl rings the guy has. After retirement, guy's written a number of books. There's a movie done about his story, his life. He's got a radio show. and he partnered on finance, and he partnered up with a business partner, and they have a finance business. I don't know exactly what this is, probably investments, that kind of thing. But for all those reasons, Rocky Bleiers, most admired, most admired. Now, as far as this weekend's game, I don't make predictions. I'm way past that. But I will say this is playoff football. Anything can happen. Ball's not round for a reason. Okay. So we're gonna move forward. Last week we did our story of something of consequence regarding Anne Arundel County about a Boy Scout troop. So I was looking to do fair time for the Girl Scouts. And I kept looking and kept looking, and I just didn't find anything with any real substance to it. Where there was a Girl Scout troop that was really putting out their information, so I could kind of go through the facts, that kind of thing. But I found something that was really, really good, and that's what we're going to talk about. So let's go here. There is a Girl Scout camp. It's called Whippowillow Girl Scout Camp. It's right on the Magathy. And when I came across this, I came across a little documentary, a little 11, 12-minute documentary that was done with this beautiful, beautiful woman. Just so much grace, so much dignity. Her name is Betty Cook, or was Betty Cook. She was 100 years old. I believe they just did this last year. And she talked about her time at the Girl Scout camp. And it's funny, the first thing she said was that her parents weren't sure if this was going to work. So they didn't even buy a uniform for her. She wore her brother's uniform. Gosh. And but she could play a bugle. And so she was needed, you know what I mean? She fit right in with those other girls. They made friendships. They talked about science. They camped. They learned. They hiked. They just bonded. What a beautiful story. And I'll tell you this. This was I think it was about 1940. She was born in 1919, 1924. I think it was like the late 1930s, what they were talking about. And one of those pictures, and they had a lot of black and white pictures. One of those Girl Scouts was black. It wasn't segregated. I'm telling you, I know what I saw. So they just were finding out about themselves as older girls and young women. It was a beautiful story about holism and about their own kind of faith in themselves. Oh boy, it was well done. Just 11 minutes. That's it right there. I'm not going to play it, but that's it right there. Girl Scouts of Central Maryland. They call it Central Maryland, but it was actually, this is on the Magathy, which is in Anne Arundel County. Memories of Whippowillow Camp. And here's the thing. And she in her business life, she got involved with jewelry and art and designing, and she and her husband had a business, and they designed different things, including bowling alleys. There's a lot to a bowling alley. There's a lot of art deco was the styling, believe it or not. You wouldn't think it, but it's not just, four walls, you throw a ball at something. It's modern art in a way, It's its own art. We'll say that, right? But not long after that documentary was over, she just kind of left us. 100 years old. 100 years old. But it's a great story. Great story. So anyway, there it is right there. You pull that up, Memories of Whippowillow Camp, and you can watch that documentary yourself. It's beautiful and well done. So we're gonna stop the share. One last thing to do. Now, usually I'm looking for a poem or a speech, something in line with what we've discussed today. And I was looking for the Girl Scouts, but I would have gone for anything. Girl Scouts. I don't know if they have entry middle, like boys have Boy Scouts, Weeblos, no, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, Weeblos. I don't know the Girl Scouts have one in the middle. I don't know if they do. But I said, well, I would go for the brownies. And I said, wait a minute, let's do that. So this is from Love and Lemons. It's about best homemade brownies. It's recipes. I found something in here and I got a big kick out of it. I'm going to share it with you all. Now, I'm just going to read homemade brownies recipe ingredients. Back to Michelle's recipe. So Michelle wrote this recipe. I don't know who Michelle's last name is. For brownies, in order for it to turn out like also better than the box mix, Michelle uses granular sugar, all-purpose flour, salt, chocolate chips. Then she adds these key ingredients: 2 eggs and water. Michelle uses a bit of water with the eggs to achieve the moist, gooey texture of box mixed brownies without any commercial emulsifiers. And because this recipe doesn't contain any baking powder, eggs are essential for helping the brownies to puff up in the oven. Powdered sugar. The trick to making homemade brownies that are just like the ones from the box. Powdered sugar contains cornstarch, which helps thicken the batter without the chemical additives you find in a mix. Unsweetened cocoa powder. Michelle recommends using Hershey's special dark Dutch processed cocoa powder. Make sure to sift it if it's lumpy. Oil. While many recipes for brownies use unsalted butter, Michelle's calls for canola oil, just like the box mix. I use olive oil because it's what I keep on hand, but I love a rich flavor. That's what she has. Also, vanilla extract. Half a teaspoon of vanilla really amps up the chocolate flavor. Remember when it said vanilla extract? You know what song came in my mind? What was that? Julie, 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 you know, spoonful of sugar, let the medicine go down. The medicine go down. Julie, you know what I'm talking about. Mary Poppins and Sound of Music. I can't remember her name right now. Great actress. I can't remember her name right now. I had to circle back to her though. Last week, we were able to get out Saturday morning, episode 16, Community Conversations and Discovery, Our Home by the Sea. We've been running it on a Sprizzy digital ad buy. It's doing extremely well. We run these for 7 or 8 days and we get views. We're up to about 2,700 views, but more importantly, we get subscribers. And that got us well over the 3,000 mark. We were at about 2,700 before. Now we're at 3,300. Subscribers are important because people, decision makers, look at that kind of thing. So for everyone here at the Glen Burnie Players, again, my name's Anthony. Tomorrow, you can make it. You can make it. John Wesley, about 4:30. Till next time, bye-bye.